In today's video, I've got two figures from the Mego Horror line to look at. We have the Hunchback of Notre Dame, based on the 1939 film version starring Charles Laughton. The other figure is Medusa, the famous monster of Greek myth. Both of these figures have an unusual backstory. Back in the fall of 2021, Mego entered into a partnership with Topps, the trading card company. Every Monday, Topps would reveal two exclusive Mego figures that would only be on sale for 1 week. The figures would then be produced to order and shipped several months later. This was sort of a worst-case scenario for Mego completists. As these were exclusive to one site, you only had 1 week to order them, and with two figures coming out every week, the figure cost plus shipping, you were looking at least $50 per week for an indefinite period of time. Two things then happened. One is that the promotion ended after 10 weeks. The other thing we found out later was that all of the exclusive figures would be released in another form later on by Mego as general releases, either with costume changes or head sculpt changes. So if you wanted that character, you'd be able to get that character later on down the line in a different form, but not the exact form that was offered in the promotion through Topps. In the case of the Hunchback, the figure that was offered originally was a generic Hunchback of Notre Dame figure, not licensed by any movie studio. So the general release figure is the one that is licensed by Universal Studios. The Medusa figure is an unusual case. The original figure that was solicited was the Gorgon, based on the 1964 Hammer horror film. A few weeks after that figure was solicited, it was abruptly canceled and all the money refunded. Rumor was that Mego had put the cart before the horse and solicited that figure before they had attained the likeness rights of the actress from the film. Rather than scrap the idea altogether, Mego then retooled the head sculpt and created this generic Medusa figure that's not based on any particular film. So that was a bit of a long-winded explanation to explain how these two figures came to be, but we are here for a figure review, are we not? Here are the backs of the cards. For the Hunchback, we have a photo of Charles Laughton in character from the film, but on the Medusa card, we just have a photo of the figure itself. It would have been nice if Mego had commissioned someone to make an original art piece of the Medusa figure to put there instead of just a photo of the figure itself, but so it goes. Let's look at our friend Quasimodo first. He is on a standard Mego body that they use for all the characters, especially the superheroes, so you can see the muscles sculpted into the body under his tight-fitting costume. So that's a little weird. It looks like Quasimodo's been working out. Because it's a standard body, you don't really get that Hunchback feel. So while he's on a shelf, I kind of have to bend his legs and hang one arm down to kind of give it the illusion that he's a hunchback. The hunch is sewn into the back of his tunic. It's just feels like a plastic Easter egg, really. It's a kind of an egg-shaped piece of plastic that gives him that kind of weird hump look. The costume is made out of a nice fabric, though, but like I said, it is very form-fitting. The only accessory he comes with is this belt, which is held on by Velcro. I really do like his face sculpt. They did a good job on that, making his malformed face and doing the paintwork on it. But overall, I really don't get a hunchback feel from this character being on the standard body like he is. Here is Medusa. Really excellent job on the head sculpt, both the painted details and the sculpting. You can see some scaling on her forehead, the arched eyebrows, the paint inside the eyes and the mouth with the fangs. There's a gold wash around all the snakes on her head. And there is some painted detail inside the mouths of the snakes as well. The only problem is the color on the head does not match the color of the plastic they used for her skin. There is a very noticeable difference between her head and her neck. You can see the robes, although they're really well done, are also green, albeit a different shade of green. So with the 3 different shades of green on her, the head, the hands and neck, and the robes, there is a bit too much green. These robes should have been maybe a different color, maybe an off-white, to make her look more Greek. Would have been nice. She does have some shoes that look like they have been repurposed from the Wicked Witch of the West from the Wizard of Oz. That's what they look like. Mego did do a Wicked Witch figure a few years ago. And the only problem I have with her sitting on the shelf is that with these very small feet, she does not stand on her own. You can get her to stand, but she'll eventually fall over. So I did have to use one of these doll stands to stand her on the shelf. But other than that, she is a nice looking figure overall. Like I said, just a bit too much green. So in this horror figure battle, which figure comes out on top? This is a close one. Each of these figures has their pros and cons. But at the end of the day, I have to pick one, and it will be Medusa. I think in this case, Medusa does have a really nice head sculpt, and she is a unique character. Quasimodo has been done time and time again as part of the Universal Monsters line, but there aren't a lot of figures of Medusa out there. I think maybe McFarlane might have done one years ago, his take on Medusa. But this looks more like the classic Medusa from Greek myth. So in today's battle, the Hunchback has had his bell rung. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next video.